Hello, this is B. West Jr. over at Endurance Productions. Just want to vlog a little bit here. Got a movie on my mind. I've started watching yesterday evening and I've been watching a little bit since I've been home. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Okay, before anybody says anything or flips to another channel or watches another vlog, let me explain, okay? We all know the backstory behind Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. It has nothing to do with the Michael Myers history or anything of that nature. Essentially, the movie turned out in about 1982-83, okay? The backstory that we all kind of know, or most people know, if you're a horror buff, John Carpenter and producers that were behind creating this movie wanted to take the series in a different direction. They wanted to take it in a more of a Tales from the Crypt kind of direction, or a creep show fashion where they tell a different story each time. The only problem with that, the mainstream public had already gotten used to the formula of The Shape or Michael Myers and wanted more of that story. You know, it's sort of like the old adage, when you take the pacifier out of the baby's mouth, they're going to whine, they're going to cry for more, okay? Basically, that's what had happened. In my opinion, if they had probably taken a little more time, I don't know the specifics, but if they could have taken more time and pre-screened this movie a little more with some initial audiences before they put it out for wide release, they could have then in turn got the reviews from it and then retitled the movie as a standalone movie by itself. That would have, in my opinion, now it's neither here nor there because it's a piece of history now and it's good for a laugh around Halloween time, or any time for that matter, if you want to watch a good old school horror movie with decent production values, I might add. The only problem is if they had retitled it on it as a standalone picture, it might have had a little more of a commercial success in line with Mustafa Akkad producing executively and John Carpenter and Deborah Hill. To kind of piggyback on that, so to speak, John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, they had a long-standing relationship of producing good movies and John Carpenter films, things of that nature. They produced this movie and had Tommy Lee Wallace, an old friend of John Carpenter and collaborator on many of John Carpenter's films as production designer and other roles, direct the movie. He wrote and directed this movie. If you take your time and actually get this movie out of the vault or go rent it and watch it, get in the mind, the way I can advise most people to have an enjoyable experience with Halloween 3 is basically sit back and get into the mindset that this movie is a standalone movie. Even pick out a new title for yourself. Just call it something different than Halloween. Get out of the mindset of Michael Myers and you'll have a whole lot better experience. I think last night I was just calling it the Scary Mask movie or something of that nature, and it helped the whole experience a whole lot better. I had not seen it in a long time, but after watching some recent John Carpenter films, I wanted to revisit it because I grew up watching this movie on cable and a few other. I've seen it a few times. If you get into the mindset where Michael Myers is not a part of the movie at all, and you just kind of give it your own title or whatever you want to do. If you really take a hard look at this movie, folks, it works and plays like a John Carpenter movie. You have Dean Cundey, who's basically been the director of photography on a lot of John Carpenter films. You have the eerie music that pops up in a lot of John Carpenter's films, the angles, the camera direction, the lighting. It all works like a John Carpenter film, basically. Just to say some good things about it, Tommy Lee Wallace, a solid director in his own right, but if you want to get into the mindset of a John Carpenter atmosphere, this movie still has all the same goods as most of John Carpenter's films from that era. With that being said, if you get into that right mindset, Halloween 3 offers a pretty decent outing. If you just want to have a lazy Saturday and it's raining outside, you don't have much to do, pop it in the old DVD player and see what you come up with. It's a better experience if you get into the right mindset. I know it sounds goofy, but try it. You might like it. The things that turn up in the movie, Dan O'Hillery, an older actor, he plays kind of a warlock type guy who's hijacked a stone from Stonehenge, basically, and is taking the magical properties from the rock itself and compressing it into silicone diodes or something of that nature and attaching them to the masts that they're producing for Halloween as a novelty. Once done, they will make children go home and watch a special program, at which time these masks turn evil and do some pretty gnarly stuff to people. I'm not going to go too far into it if you've never seen the film, but essentially, check it out. Go to your video store if you don't own it. Not many people own it because they don't like it because it doesn't have Michael Myers in it. Treat it as though a standalone movie. You'll have a better experience. I happen to have it in a little double feature disc. I got it at the old Wally Mart or big old box mart, whatever you want to call it. Double feature, have Halloween 2 and Halloween 3. Season of the Witch as it's titled. But as I prefer to call it recently, the Scary Mask movie. It just works better. I don't know. You can come up with, be creative. Leave a comment, subscribe to the videos, leave a comment, tell me your particular title. That'd be a good little challenge, folks. Leave me a comment on this video as to which title that you would like to retitle this movie as, and we'll see what we come up with. Maybe some hijinks will ensue from that. As always, here at Endurance, take care, be safe, give it a watch, but make up your own title. It'll work a whole lot better. Take care, folks. See you next time.